Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we're going to be discussing some nailing tips for getting ready for putting sheetrock up. This could be useful information for new construction or even just renovating your house, putting in new walls. So we are mostly finished with the interior of this house here. Got all the electrical in, plumbing, and PEX tubing and HVAC and whatnot. So our next big step would be insulation and sheetrock. Before you want to do the insulation, you're probably going to want to get all your nailers in place. So what I mean by nailers are places for the sheetrock to nail to. So I'll show you a close-up of a few different spots I'm talking about and why it could be an issue. So if you have your basic wall, right, you got your studs, your ends, and your corners. Then you have the beams in the center of that are usually 16 inches on center. Some houses or barns might be 24 inches, but typically it's going to be 16 inches on center. So the first thing you're going to want to do is go to each corner of each room and kind of just make sure that there's something in each corner to nail to. So you're going to be putting sheetrock on this side and you're going to be putting sheetrock on that side. So just make sure you have a spot to nail in each corner. So that's your first step, just make sure every corner has got two surfaces to nail to. It's got to go all the way up to, the ceiling or whatever. And in this particular case, we have cathedral ceilings going in. So that would mean the sheetrock is going to be going up with the beams going up. So take up here, for example, we got this beam right here going up, but we have nothing to nail to right here, because this beam is actually tucked behind this wall. So if you look at it from this angle, you'll see that there's nothing to nail the sheetrock to right up the side of this wall here. So I'm gonna be putting in some nailers so we could get some sheetrock up there. I'm gonna have to do it on both sides, and sometimes you'll have some stuff in the way, like HVAC systems and electrical and whatever, but at the end of the day, you need to get these in there, or else your sheetrock will sag in the future. So let's get started on that. I also wanted to mention that sometimes you'll have a little gap, kind of like this. I would say you could leave about an inch in between, allowing the sheetrock to hit the wall. It can overhang, like I said, about an inch, but I wouldn't push it much further than that. Over here, for example, this is too far, because you got probably about 3 or 4 inches in between that beam going on a diagonal and the wall right here. So we're gonna need to add in a piece right there to give the sheetrock or something to nail to. You're also gonna wanna check doorways. So right here, for example, this one overhangs just a little bit. I would recommend putting in, if you have a situation like this, putting in an extra beam right here to nail to. Otherwise, your sheetrock might fall off this little corner here and then it'll all bend in, and you definitely don't want that. So I would say it's better to be safe than sorry, and throw on that extra beam if you think you need it. We also have a spot right here on the beams that goes up on the diagonal and then goes across flat. And then on this side, it just goes up on the diagonal. So we would need to add another one of those pieces, like that one right there, over on this side to have 2 nailing points to go across. I also wanted to make note, you could actually piece together these nailers. So if you don't want to use full lengths of 2x4s or 2x6s, you just find your cutoffs from past projects, or if you're building a new house like this one, you kind of just have scraps lying around. these 2x4s won't be holding any serious loads. They're just made to hold the sheetrock. So that's why it's allowed to just put in, you know, piece by piece all the way up, because a piece of sheetrock isn't that heavy. So yeah, save yourself some money and use some smaller pieces. Nail those all the way up, and go from there. So we are going to start off with one of these upper diagonals here for the cathedral ceiling. And I want to show you this tool. It's just a regular level by Craftsman, but it has this adjustable level on it, and it will tell you the amount of degrees. Let me set you up here quick. It shows you the degrees, if you can see that the level is at. So the way you're going to want to use this is you get up to your diagonal and put the level on it like this. You get it level on your degree finder. So you got it level right there. So what you're going to want to do after that is make sure you leave that selected on your level, and I will show you what to do on the other piece once you've got it set up. So the first thing you're going to want to do is rest the edge of the 2x4 or 2x6, whatever you're using, right on the edge here. Maybe even push it in maybe just a hair, just so it doesn't fall off while you're trying to get it up. But just kind of mimic wherever your standard trusses are going up on that angle. Just try to sit it in the exact same spot. So once you've got your 2x4 up there, you want to use your level with the same degree that was on the other one, and kind of try to find, without moving the bottom preferably, try to find the same levelness on there. And once you've got the same level, double check your end again. And I just dropped it a little bit. Get it to the same spot of level. You hold it real tight so it doesn't move while you're trying to get it in place. And then you nail it right in. Once you nail it in, I would highly recommend you double check before shooting your second nail in, because obviously once you get the second nail in there, it kind of gets harder and harder to move it around. Might need to move it just a hair, you know. Once you double checked and it's good, shoot a second nail through there. Now that you've got your second nail in there, I like to grab a long 2x4 and put it across all the beams on the bottom. And what should happen is they should all line up. They should all be hitting this 2x4 if you go across all the beams. So I'm good. I'm touching on every single one, like 4 down. If you're off by like a 1/16 on one, it just means the bottom of one is pushed back too far. But that's a good way to double check that your beam is in the right spot. So yeah, we've got that piece up, just like that. It's leveled, it's checked with the other pieces, and now you have a spot to nail your cathedral ceiling sheetrock across to. Like I said in the beginning of the video, you can't nail the sheetrock up to anything on this side, so that is the purpose of these nailers. So you may have a situation where your top is overlapping. You might just need to cut your 2x8. I didn't even need to cut the first one because it doesn't matter if it sticks over a little bit, because all that's going up there is insulation, or in some cases nothing at all. So you let the first one overlap and then just measure the second one. The second one, I just had a piece lying around that was already beveled, or not beveled, just cut at an angle. So if you have a situation where you can't set it on the 2x4 and it's going against something, you're gonna wanna angle it. In this example, there's also wires in the way, so we're gonna have to cut this one even more than it already is. But I will get back to you when it's all cut and ready to be put in place. All right, so we got our piece cut. So the first thing you wanna do on this second side here is recalibrate your level. So put it on the beam right before it, and just make sure it's level again. And if it's not, just adjust that little bit that it might need. And then you are all set to throw up this piece. So I'm gonna get it in place here quick. I will mention it's a lot easier to do this with two people. One person holding each side so that you're not holding everything all at once. Might get a little bit of a better result with two people. But it is manageable with one. It'll definitely be a lot easier for you as well if you clamp it up. So you take your piece and you just clamp it right in place. And if you do that as well, you could probably more accurately get it to the right spot if you leave your clamp a little bit loose. So we're going to put this level right on here. Drop it down a little bit because that's what it needs. And then double check that the bottom where you're sitting is still in the right spot before you nail it always. Just so you don't get any issues in the bottom. Because even if it's level, if it's not in the right spot, it will do you no good. So triple check that bottom spot before you nail it. All right, so we got it all leveled out, and we are going to shoot a nail in it quick. All right, so we got our nail in it. By the way, I'm using a pass load cordless nail gun. It's probably from 2002 or so. So yeah, once you shoot it with your nail gun, you might move it out of place just a hair. So with just one nail in it, you can still kind of move it around a little bit. And that's why I leave that extra space and the only one nail before I put in the other ones. Then you still have time to play with it if it needs to move in any direction. And then you can shoot the rest of your nails in, get it locked in, and she's ready for sheetrock. So yeah, it's the basic concept of putting up those nailers. They've got to go in every single corner of your entire house or whatever project you're working on, because obviously the sheetrock will cover all of the wood on the walls and ceilings. I would show you some more, but might be a very long video if I show all of them. But yeah, just walk around, you know, make sure every corner has two surfaces. And I don't even mean, you know, the big corners of the house. I mean like any corner at all. So like, you know, this is the corner of the closet. It's got two. So inside. All these are good. You might have a situation like this where it's pretty close. You could leave that, but obviously if you do leave it, then if you press on this sheetrock right here, obviously this isn't gonna be in the back corner of the closet, so nobody would ever be pressing on it, I'm sure. But if you wanna be safe, you could throw a 2x4 in here to give it some extra support. And yeah, just walk around, you know, look at the ceilings. Just make sure you've got the same pattern in the middles as you do on the ends. So like we're gonna have to add another one of these beams right over here to nail to upwards. If you have any further questions, please feel free to comment below, because this definitely probably can look a little confusing on a camera. But the basic concept that you're gonna wanna know is every single corner is what you're gonna mostly be looking at. Whether it's a corner of the ceiling where the structure is changing, or, you know, just a general corner. Just think about putting up a big sheet of plywood almost. And once you think about that, just think about where you're gonna nail it to. And if you visualize it that way, it'll be a lot easier to find the spots where you're gonna need the nailers for the sheetrock. So I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope it's been helpful for some or at least one of you. And please just feel free to message me if you have any confusion or questions. Have a good rest of your day, and I will see you next time.